Sunday. Alone unbeaten after what happened in Philadelphia. In come the Patriots, Drake May, and also, how about the icy whites for Buffalo? Those look fantastic. It also means that Stephon Diggs is back in town. His first time since moving on via trade. A 6-3 game as we play in the early third. And Josh Allen hits Dalton Kincaid. And then Curtis Samuel, great play design. He walks, or I should say high steps into the end zone. First touchdown of the game, and it's 10-6. Ensuing Patriot drive. May did this a lot. Kind of a Josh Allen hybrid, if you will. Roll the pocket, ad-lib, make a play, and an incredible throw and catch from Stephon Diggs, who had his most targets and yards in this one. Earlier in the game, Ramondre Stevenson, who's been plagued by fumbles, put one on the ground, but here, Vrabel trusted him. He takes it into the end zone, and New England has the lead for a minute. Allen looking for Khalil Shakir, picked off by Marcus Jones. Early fourth, Patriots driving, looking for more. May, Diggs, breaks out of one tackle. When he picks up a block, he's got to be thinking, I'm going to get into the end zone. Not quite. You can tell he desperately wanted that. It's Stevenson again on a great play design. Roll everything to the right, pitch it to him on the left, and Stevenson with his second touchdown of the game. It's a 10-point deficit for Allen and the Bills. He finds Kincaid here, who had a big night, 6 catches, 108 yards. And Buffalo approaching the end zone, and they would find it. Keon Coleman in the back, and it's a 3-point game. Under 5 to go. Buffalo needs 3 to tie. Up top to Coleman, who makes a beautiful grab. Later in the drive, Allen doing what he does, improvising. He's a magician. Make a big man miss. Somebody open for a moment. It's Shakir, but it's broken up. Buffalo would kick the tying field goal at 20 apiece. Now Vrabel and New England had to thread the needle, and this is just an incredible play. Drake May under pressure, stiff arms the defensive tackle. I believe Chris Collinsworth said it's a 330-pound man, and then Diggs makes a great play, not just to make the catch, but then to gain some yards. 2nd and 9, what a throw and catch to Keyshawn Boutte down the sideline. They're getting close to field goal range, and field goal range for Andy Borregales from 52. I want you to see where this hits. It hits halfway up the net. That's good from 70 yards, and it's right down the middle for the Rook. And there are only 15 seconds left. Buffalo, Samuel actually fielded it and tried to make a play out of the end zone. Here they're going to try to do a little pitchy woo-woo, but off the catch to Palmer. He's not able to get the pitch to Shakir, and that is a phenomenal win for New England, and you see the passion in Stephon Diggs. Tim Hasselbeck is with me, and we got a full 90 here, so we got some time here. We're upstairs preparing. You're getting your tapes ready on Josh Allen and all the stuff that only he can do. And then May is doing a remarkable sort of facsimile. How many things did he do in this game that are reminiscent of the great ad-lib quarterbacks in the game?
I mean, at least a handful in one game against the guy that kind of is changing the position the way he has with how he does it. And so, look, I think when you go back to the beginning of the year, people have kind of all this optimism on New England, whether they're going to be a team that really turns it around. Yeah, like Mike Vrabel's a great coach, but it is centered around Drake May becoming a quarterback like the ones that we talk about. So whether it's Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, guys like that is the reason for the optimism. And so in a game tonight where you're, at the Bills in their place, they're undefeated, you go on the road, and then you make some of the plays that quite honestly, Josh Allen is the one that is usually making. Like, I don't want to say it's a coming out party because I think people know, who Drake May is and all of that stuff. But I think that's a big performance against that quarterback in his building.
Well, Sunday Night Football, everyone's watching. It's Buffalo who hasn't lost. They're in your division. They're the bully on the block, and you go into their place and beat them. I mean, you can't really amplify a singular performance any larger than that. He was 13 of 14 in the second half. But I also want to ask you about Vrabel, because at the end of the first half, they got down there close. It was like on the 1 yard line, and we were wondering, do you try to sneak it, try to get 7, because you're going to need 7 to win. And he didn't. But I could see him talking, I believe, to his coordinator, say, let's make sure we get points here. And then at the end of the game, you've got to thread the needle to try to exhaust the clock and then make a 52-yarder. And they did every single thing. So it's not just May who was brilliant. It's this entire team, isn't it?
It is. So I think May's the most important piece, because you can be a great coach. If you don't have the quarterback, you won't be any good. So they feel like they have the quarterback. But, Scott, I think you bring up an awesome point about Mike Vrabel. Around the league, he is considered a guy that situational football, he's got it perfect. He does it. He does an excellent job, maybe as good as anybody at it. So you reference the end of the half. At the end of the half, takes a timeout when he specifically wanted 18 seconds, because he knew, look, if the quarterback runs around a little bit, it's not going to exhaust all the time. May actually did it twice. And then when you think about, you said, talking to your coordinator, make sure you have an opportunity to get that play. If it doesn't work, you're still kicking the field goal to go up 6-3 at that point. So, yeah, I think the situational football, how he coaches that is, I think in some ways you could argue second to none.
Stephon Diggs hurt his knee last year with Houston, coming back from an ACL, and it was a fairly slow start to this season. And there's plenty of folks that wonder, coming off an injury like that, like, you know how people are. Is he washed? Are his best days behind him? He had 100-plus receiving last week, had his best game tonight, which doesn't surprise me at all. But this feels like the kind of night that could be a launch point for the best of Stephon Diggs for May in New England, does it not?
It absolutely, just targets alone. He had 12 targets tonight. The next closest guy to him was 4 targets. Like, he turned into the guy tonight that, like, when you had to have it, think of the plays we're talking about. Sure. The escape plays, the 2 of them on the sideline.
Right here.
This is one that was remarkable. And then, you also have to understand the chemistry and trust reading the guy's body language on something like that.
Yeah, you're only 5 weeks in.
Right. And so I think, look, a veteran receiver who definitely has a great feel for the game, space and all of that, and then has the ability to finish catches, in contested situations. Yeah, absolutely, because Hunter Henry had kind of been the guy for May. And tonight it felt different. It felt like, oh, wait a second, no, there's pretty good rapport with Stephon Diggs.
Well, and it was clear that it meant a great deal to him to be back there. There's a lot baked in, good and maybe not so good for his time there, but now you get a chance twice a year to play him. This is his first bite of the apple, and he took a big, huge bite and was great. On the Buffalo side of things, I think the most important thing that Vrabel did, and what New England was able to do, is make sure that when Allen touched the football at the end of that game, that he just didn't have time. Because if there's even 30 seconds on the clock, it feels like he's going to give Prater a chance, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why Vrabel takes a timeout after the kickoff return to say, no, guys, like, this isn't done yet. 12 seconds left in the game. We're going to coach this all the way through.
I understand why Samuel fielded it, because the way these dynamic kickoffs work, you can make a move with the football, but I wonder, are the seconds more valuable than the yards?
Yeah, you'd rather have the seconds go to Josh Allen than on a kickoff return, but I think coaching it all the way through. I think the other thing for Buffalo, as you look at it, look, New England capitalized on the mistakes, the turnovers. Like, they did that, and that, I guarantee you, is the message Vrabel is sending and did leading into the game, is when you get the chance against a team like that, you have to take advantage of them. There was the missed handoff, there was the punch out on Coleman, and then there was the interception that Allen threw down in the red zone. In order to beat the Buffalo Bills, you need to find a way to, like, when the ball is in harm's way, because Josh is aggressive with the football, you need to have an opportunity, you need to take it away.
You're going to need to be really good, and you might need a little bit of help. And in this game, Buffalo, who had been protecting the football at an incredible clip, they gave it up, 3 different times, a couple of fumbles in that pick. And so that's a large reason why, and by 3, that sort of speaks to the level that's required to beat Buffalo. Here's Josh Allen after the first loss of the year.
First half, what do you think the issues were that you couldn't really get any rhythm going on the offense?
We just played sloppy. Not going to win a football game, turning the ball over 3 times in our red zone. Gave them one in their red zone. That's just bad football, and we just did not play good tonight.
after that, you got a little more rhythm maybe in the second half. What changed for you? Was it just a matter of not making the same mistakes you guys were making in the first half?
Yeah, just trying to find a rhythm and get into a good rhythm. Obviously, Dalton Kincaid played fantastic tonight. We got to carry that over and got to find a way to win that one. But again, we shouldn't have even been in it with 3 turnovers. So that's again, that's just piss poor offense.
Mike Vrabel on the winning side. Thoughts after knocking off Buffalo?
For Steph and be into this thing all week. You're a really good leader for us. Stacked a couple really good games together. There's a lot of trust. And again, we're going to move the ball around, right? We're going to move the ball. Everybody helped us again tonight. And I think just a really gutty performance from Drake. Really just continue to enjoy watching him grow and lead this football team. And it was good for us to again, would love to have a win by 2 scores, but being able to come back and execute in a critical situation, take the clock down, and win it on our terms.
What did this say maybe about the mental resilience of your team to be able to come back and win a game like this prime time on the road?
I mean, that's how we practice. I mean, we were talking about taking the next step, and we got off to a really good start defensively and kind of just beat ourselves a little bit from the details in the first half. Offense came back when we needed them in the second half, and defensively, just it's a huge challenge, to defend them. And we got some stops. We didn't get as many as we wanted to, but we got enough to give ourselves a chance in the end. So a lot of credit to everybody on defense and Zach and his staff and everybody over there.
My guess is that in the new stadium that'll be built next year, the locker room won't be directly adjacent to where the press conference is going. You can hear how New England's celebrating.
Yes,
and they should. Look, you win like this, you should celebrate. And their next 2, by the way, are on the road against teams, Tennessee and New Orleans, who just won for the first time today. So there might be a temptation to say, oh, they can get on a roll now. I think Vrabel's great situationally, but I also think he'll be great at sort of managing the group in these next 2 games. What do you like most about that?
Because I just think Vrabel's got such a great sense, like the pulse of the locker room. Like you see him greet guys coming off the field afterwards. You hear the way he talks about guys. I mean, like he's complimentary about his players, but you also know that like he will rip you if you are not, doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like I just think he's got such a great handle on that. I think it's, probably his experience as a player and a teammate and like all of those things. But like, so if anybody, like if you feel like somebody can kind of navigate like the, hey, don't feel, like you're just got to pat yourself on the back for the next 2 weeks, like it is Vrabel.
And he's not the guy to do it, but he could. Like you could walk around the Patriots facility and just point at the pictures in the Super Bowls and go, yeah, that's me. I'm the guy catching the touchdowns. Yeah, that's me. What a win tonight. It's early October, but this is a hell of a win for Buffalo. We're going to get to more sound as we continue from that side. The Eagles began the day unbeaten. They hosted a team I think is better than their record. Denver at 2-2 off a win on Monday against reeling Cincinnati. Had to come east and take on Philly in the early window. It's a 3-3 game on a day where they got the passing game going. It really forced it in a lot of respects. There were 18 targets for Brown and Smith. There's Devontae Smith, a gain of 52. And then this guy's become their red zone touchdown target in the passing game. That's Dallas Goedert. He's already got 4 touchdowns this year. It's 10-3. Saquon Barkley only ran the ball 6 times in this game, but he did get to the end zone courtesy of this beautiful wheel route. Saquon, 47 yards on a gorgeous throw, and Philly, who's 4-0, leads Denver 17-3. We're good. Well, Denver signed up for 60. There goes J.K. Dobbins to close the gap to 7. Denver with the football back. This is a huge play because it's 3rd and 15, and that is a bullet from Nix to Cortland Sutton, who stays on his feet. He's a big man. Broncos keep the drive alive. Nice ad lib here from Nix, who looks back and finds his tight end, Evan Ingram, who does a tremendous job to stay upright and then levitate. Elbows, knees, nothing. Hits the ground before the ball crosses the plane. And Sean Payton brought out the wheelbarrow, and here we go. We're going for 2. They roll it. Beautiful play design. Perfect toss to Troy Franklin. And Denver now leads with 15 consecutive points. Philly's got time. They go for it on 4th and 4, and looking for Smith. They've got it, but there's a flag, illegal shift called on Barkley. And so Nick Sirianni, you know, he hated to do it, but they punt. So now Denver gets the ball back, and this was a bit of dispute because Nick's is under pressure, gets rid of it. A flag was thrown for grounding, but picked up. Nick Sirianni wasn't pleased with that at all. A few plays later, this is 3rd and 2. R.J. Harvey is knocked down, and then Zach Vaughn comes in late. So they would have been attempting a field goal, but after that, that's an automatic first down. Ultimately, they do decide to kick the field goal, but you've exhausted more clock. It is admittedly an easier field goal after the penalty as well. 21-17 your score. We got here in an unusual way, but now can Philly get down there and tie it? Goddard, lots of contact. Certainly seen flags thrown. From there, you wonder, could they have tried to push from the 3? No flag, so it comes down to this. Hurts into a sea of bodies, and I believe it hits Smith's hands, both Smith and Brown. Yeah, that's Smith who's got his hands on it, but there are a bunch of Broncos that are there to, in honor of TJ, knock it down. They do. That is a big-time dub for Sean Payton on how it felt to knock off the reigning Super Bowl champs.
I think they were confident coming in. I asked them afterwards, who are you afraid of? You know, and this is a league that's, man, this is a fine line between a groove and a rut. It was a good win. You know, I told our team, I said, look, you're going to forget the money, the car, all that stuff, but, you know, you're not going to forget just these moments. Ultimately, that's what you do it for.
Broncos